Welcome to the Colorado Lounge. Horror nerds, film freaks, and people who definitely text their ex, what up, at 2 a.m. Today, as my Valentine's Day gift to you, we are talking about Together, the 2025 body horror romance starring real-life couple Dave Franco and Allison Brie, which I didn't know until doing research for this movie. So cool. Yeah, but I'm sorry I get this out. I got this out too late. I had rehearsal, and then I didn't know how busy I was gonna be today. So you like the little set that I did here? Got a little some hearts, stickers. Got some Valentines. 'Cause I don't physically have this movie. I'm gonna get it though sometime. Yeah, this movie is basically what would happen if a couple's therapist got fired and became a mad scientist. Or really a witch doctor. Should really change that. Witch doctor. So let's get into this movie. And there won't be a clip for this because I didn't really work into where I would put one. If I find one fluently throughout the movie, and also this movie is very the title describes the movie. It's very together, like they morph together. So I don't know what would be a good one that YouTube would be like, hey, you can't put this up. Oof. But okay, let's go into the movie. There is a cold open with two dogs, but the less we speak about that is better for me. And yes, I know my favorite horror movie is The Thing, but it's different. It's different. This one's like creepy. So we actually open on Millie and Tim. Millie's this earnest elementary school English teacher, and Tim's an inspiring musician who probably should get a hobby other than an existential dread. Like, I mean, honestly, half the movie is just like, little sweaty boy. I still prefer your brother, by the way. They're at crossroads. Millie's got a teaching job, and Tim's parents have passed recently. Their relationship is weirdly tense, like elevator music weird. Not ominous horror movie weird. Yet. We'll get there. Now, speaking of Millie, she already has stayed with us at the she's already been lounging with us at the Colorado Lounge. She already booked the room. She was somewhere on the second floor, I think maybe room 37 there. She had a nice stay, so she came back. And you don't know what I'm talking about. Allison Brie is in this movie. She plays Millie, and she was in Scream 4. So yeah, she left us for a little bit on the Scream road, but then she's like, you know what? I'm gonna come back. It was nice here, and she brought a boyfriend, which is nice. Millie enthusiastically proposes before their big move because they're moving from the city to the country. And Tim hesitates. And that awkwardness, that's the first horror beat. Not because of gore, but because we've all been there before. Like that just beat of dread. We all know it. They move to the countryside because of course they do. That's where the creepy stuff always is. And honestly, the first act feels like a relationship dramedy up until we get into the woods. Into the woods? Which mean you're already inside their psychological vibe, not just watching monsters, which I went into this movie thinking that's what it was going to be. Like, the trailer was good. I think, yeah, Final Destination, Bloodlines, I saw the trailer for this when I went to go see that. And they played Happy Together during the trailer. Like, so happy together. I don't want to get a copyright stream. So I'm not gonna sing that. But yeah, that song, which I love the song. It's a great song. And they're like, okay, saw Alison Brie, okay, saw Dave Franco, okay, saw some of the prosthetic work, okay. Because obviously it's trailer, they're not gonna show much. I think it was the Red Band trailer because I was like, yeah, I think it was, but they didn't show much, which I liked. I liked it. And so they go on a hike, and they get stuck in this extremely creepy underground cave. And what does Tim do? Well, first, he drops his phone. He loses his phone, which he's upset about because my demos were on there. Because he's, that's the clip we're going to write. Just that line. My demos were on there. All right. And he saw her doing it to him. And he drinks from this mysterious pool of water. I mean, it's water. They've been down there. I mean, I get it, but it definitely looks like it shouldn't be drunk from. I mean, classic horror movie logic. When in doubt, sip uncertain water. Awesome. Next morning, Tim and Millie's legs are partially stuck together, and they Dave Franco is just like, oh, it's just probably mildew. And then later he's like, when do I know anything about mildew? And, buddy, this is where love starts to get viscerally uncomfortable. Because the central consent of Together is, what if emotional codependency became a literal physical affliction? Every time Tim and Millie get close, their flesh starts sticking from skin to muscle to, yes, sometimes more personal areas, which that was an uncomfortable scene. Yeah. And this isn't just a gross special effect. It's a metaphor for how scary and inelastic love can feel. Millie drifts towards Tim like he's gravity itself. Tim tries to separate and ends up being yanked around like he's got an international magnetic GPS pointed to Millie. Internal. It's internal. I can read. I can read my own writing. I mean, literally stuck together. Not metaphorically. Their lips glue, their limbs weld, and wasn't that like every poster except for like, wasn't that like there's two main posters, one's their lips and they're like, and one is the eye. Yeah. It's like a cursed three-legged race with flesh and tears. A lot of tears. One point, Tim literally says something like, it feels like sex, but with regrettable physics. Okay, that might be just in my head, but you get it. Now let's talk about Millie. Alison Brie absolutely kills this. And she has come a long way from Annie Edison. Which, when are we getting that Community movie? It's been announced like 3 years ago. When are we getting it? And Millie is deep in the love vortex. She's optimistic, nurturing, in a way that slowly shifts from adorable to alarmingly persistent. And finally, to terrifyingly committed to sticking together, even when their bodies refuse to cooperate. Brie's performance is fascinating because she plays this line where you understand Millie's fear of disconnection without making her seem insane. That makes the horror way more effective. We root for her even as her body starts acting like a DIY body putty kit. Then we have Tim. Dave Franco. You butchered my boy. My boy was your mother. No, I have like a freaking Boromir and Vormir relationship with them. I'm just like, that Dave Franco. Look, I'm in a horror movie. You love horror movies. Look at James Franco. He was in a Stephen King adaptation. He was in Spider-Man. You'll never live up to him. In my mind. Alright. And Dave Franco, who somehow transforms from I'm fine to I am very not fine, physically or emotionally. Tim's dealing with grief, pressure, and the creeping suspicion that he might be losing his identity to someone else. And together makes that literal. It's not just Tim's heart that's conflicted, it's his body. There's a moment where he tries to separate during a wedding toast and finds himself painfully stuck. And the film doesn't shy away from letting you feel how gross and desperate that is. Okay. Specifics. And yes, this is a horror podcast, so we go down deep. Oh, by the way, if I couldn't find those clips, I'm sorry. For that they cringy, but whatever. Millie and Tim share a kiss early after the cave incident. What should be a romantic moment turns into a sticky, ridiculous disaster. Like two Lego pieces that will refuse to separate. Trust me, I know what that feels like. It's not fun. Your fingernails. Use the brick separator. I tried. My fingers. Alright, this scene is it's both played for shock and comedy. Like, did you bite my lip? Which is it's a genius tonal choice. It's gross, but it's also really funny. Because who hasn't had a bad awkward kiss? Except this one permanently sticks your skin together. And no, the glue is not lip gloss. That's all that happened. She just used a little glue. She misplaced her chapstick. Glue would do the trick. There's this surreal bit where Millie gets into the car and Tim, who's in the shower, and he just he shuts down, and whenever her car moves, he's just, and we got some Dave Franco, which I'm not complaining about, but okay. It's hilarious, horrifying, and terribly poetic. The sequence is peak body horror. It's half physical gag, half nightmare fuel, and Dave Franco is fully committed to doing the physical work. And the movie is fully committed to this metaphor of relational pull. Now, later in the film, I can't believe we made this far either. I mean, I actually had to take a break from watching this because it was too intense. I'm like, ooh, like the circus, it was so intense. But there's a sawzall that becomes like a character itself. Because when your freaking limbs are merging, you don't call the EMTs. You grab unfortunate hardware. The way the camera lingers on the saw blade, the two bodies, and that tension between them, it's brutal, awkward, and yet somehow expresses the horror of relationships in a way almost no movie dares. Enter Jamie, played by Damon Harriman. He lives nearby, and he's too chill about your limbs fusing. It makes him creepier than any demon. Jamie's role is part narrator, part cautionary tale. I don't like that Mean Girls is a musical. The songs are so heat, though. It's like the friend who tells you your partner's a handful, but you just don't want to hear it. Right when you think he's just odd, we get a glimpse of another fused couple, and the movie shakes you and says, this is not going to end well if you ignore your issues. It's like your therapist. So pushy. The score fluctuates between romantic strings and bone-crunching pads, mirroring the emotional push-pull. The soundtrack features a clever choice of Two Become One by the Spice Girls, which feels like it's both hilarious and deeply cursed in the context. And it's funny because that is the album, like, earlier, one of Alison Brie's friends was saying, hey, like, what do you still see in him? What did you see in him? And she was just like, he got me my favorite album. Like, for our first date, he asked me what my favorite album was, and then the next day he showed up with the album, and it was Spice Girls, which is, every time I think of the frickin' Spice Girls, I think of Scary Movie, which, Cindy, it's been over a year, but Ginger was such an important member of the Spice Girls. How could you just leave? All right. And here's, if you don't want to thank me for making this, you can thank me for putting this in here. Production trivia you can drop in a casual conversation. This was shot in only 21 days in Australia, despite being set in the Pacific Northwest. The fused effects use a combination of practical prosthetics and CGI, which is my preferred method now. Like, if you make something like, take The Thing in Fantastic Four, you need something like that. They used some practical, and they layered it with CGI to make it look better. That's what you do. That's what it'll make it look good. And the directors and stars were very committed to the weirdness. One prosthetic scene had them fused for hours. That's commitment, folks. Alrighty then. Spoiler territory now. So if you haven't seen it yet, one, go to Hulu or Disney Plus and watch it. Why have you watched this episode? This far. Like, ugh. So near the climax, Tim tries to save Millie from total fusion by slitting his own throat, because that seems like the logical couple's plan at this point. But instead of dying, Tim presses his arm into Millie's wound because she was at Jamie's and she saw, like... Okay, so Jamie, I guess, I don't know, the movie doesn't really make it clear if he's, like, the now ringleader, I guess, of this thing. But he's a fuse. Like, he and his husband, I guess they're the same person. But two guys, they got married, and they fused, and they made Jamie. So that's that. And then he, I guess, has moved there, or is trying to get people to fuse. And there's some hikers that went missing, and then Tim finds them in the cave where him and Alison Brie fell in. And he found them, and they were, like, kind of fused, but it was, like, weird and disgusting. So, yeah. And so Jamie cuts Alison Brie's arm with, like, a ring. And, yeah, so Tim presses his arm into Millie's wounds to save her. And that slowly fuses into one person, lovingly nicknamed Tilly. Yeah, I like it. Now, here's the part that is insane. The whole film. But the film cuts to Millie's parents arriving because they've been saying throughout the Alison Brie has been saying throughout the movie, my parents are coming for lunch Sunday. I don't want you there, like, yada yada yada. Oh, relationship stuff, am I right? But yeah, they're arriving, and there's Tilly standing perfectly normal and apparently living a new life, which is great. So it's a tragic, romantic, nightmare, or bliss? The answers are all the above. At its heart, literally, Together is about codependency made flesh. Like, the fear of individuality versus the fear of losing love. And the gross stuff that we overlook in relationships until it bites us in the ass. And because the leads are married in real life, it adds a spine-tingling layer of authenticity to every awkward hug and grotesque fusion gag. Together is weird. It's physically uncomfortable, and it's hilarious and horrifying in equal measure. It's the cinematic equivalent of accidentally FaceTiming someone while complaining about them. Totally, that's never happened to me before. It's not just a horror movie, it's a relationship horror movie. And that makes it stick in your brain long after the credits roll. If you've ever loved someone too hard, feared separation, or tried to merge Spotify accounts and nearly cried because their music taste sucks, they say they hate the Smiths. What is wrong with you? But in this movie, it gets you. It literally glues you together. So, I usually put like a kill thing for how many kills there were. As far as kills go, I don't know what to say. I didn't see any for sure kills. Sure, you can make the arguments that the hikers, like, because they fused, like, they kind of infused, like, you can make the decision that they died down there, or Jamie or Tilly, because they formed into one person. But I wouldn't count those as deaths, because we don't see them die, and I just think they fused into one person. Like, you don't call a child the death of the parents. So I'm seeing it kind of like that. So I'd have to say there aren't any deaths in Together, which I was surprised about. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this extra episode. Next week, we're going back to Scream with Scream 6, a film that scares you without getting your bones physically stuck together. Stay apart safely, and happy Valentine's Day, you lucky couples. I'm fine. I'm happy. All right, bye now. And if I don't get a clip in here, I'm sorry. I'm probably not gonna go and put a clip in here. I'm just gonna upload it so you guys can have it. All right, goodbye. Happy Valentine's Day. And hey, if you're sad, don't be sad on Valentine's Day. Don't just put yourself down, man. Okay, or woman, whoever's watching this. Just love yourself. You know. You need someone to be happy. You just need yourself, and you need to love yourself. And if you do have someone that you've found, that's great. This movie does deal with soulmates and finding the other half of you. And yeah, and when you find that, that's great. And I support most things. Really everything when it comes to relationships, but once you find someone that you're really happy with, that's something special. And even though I do joke that I really don't like Valentine's Day as a whole, but I mean, I have this shirt: ghosts are white, vampires are dead. Valentine's Day would be better if it was Halloween instead. I do say that because I don't really care for, and Halloween is my favorite holiday, but I don't really care for Valentine's Day, so I do say that. But I'm not anti-love. You gotta learn to love. Every once in a while, you just gotta say, you know what? We'll go out there. If you go out there, if you go to a bar, if you use a dating app, whatever. But if you find that person, you gotta stick with them. Not like this stuff. Not like this. Don't fuse your bodies together. This isn't society. All right. Bye now. Hope you have a great Valentine's Day. Hope you're spending this with your special someone, even if that special someone is yourself. Good night.